Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of the Geek Tech Show. In today's video we are doing a versus action here. Two different cameras, almost the same, and which one is going to be the winner? It's going to be determined by the end of this video. So we have two of them right here, the Osmo Action, this is by DJI, and we have the GoPro 7 by GoPro. So which one of those is the winner? Which one is this? And which one do I recommend for you to use for all your needs? And let's go fast into the pluses and minuses of each one of them. So the GoPro 7 is the 7th variation of a award-winning camera, one of the best in its field. It is almost indestructible. This specific one features one of the best image stabilizations, and it is the best version so far that they have created of this camera. In fact, it is probably the best one they ever created and the best one on the market in its class. Now, on the other hand, we have a new contender, the Osmo Action. This specific contender has just came out. This is actually primarily a second version of this camera because they had a miniature version almost identical such as this one. This is almost an exact copy of a successful camera. In fact, in every possible way, it is an exact copy. The question is, which one should you put and buy between both of those cameras? Keep watching to find out the answer. So let's check out the Osmo Action right here in all its glory. A few things about this camera is that it uses almost the same identical item as the GoPro Black, the housing itself. And that's a good and a bad thing. It makes it very simple to actually use and put it on the same accessories if you have the GoPro 7 or any of the GoPro lineups. But on the other hand, it makes it a lot more complicated as well because this housing doesn't let you charge the battery. So all the time you will end up doing the same exact thing, having to get it out. And it's hard to get it out because it gets stuck over here and you have to use some force to get it out of here. Same issue with the GoPro 7, same exact problem, but that's okay. Now, between both of them, we can see them side to side. They're almost identical in every sense of the way. Very small, very similar, but there is a few key differences over here. To start them up, well, this one has it right on the top, the button that you turn on. On the other hand, this one right here has a record button that you can actually use to turn it on. But you also have on the side button that you can turn it on as well. This has the record and on right at the top. That is really doesn't make much of a difference. But here's another interesting thing here. So on the side, you open this up, there is the charge cable right here, and there is another one right there that gives you the battery. And it's still as hard to get it out as the other one. And I don't know if I got a defective unit, but this one actually falls right out of here. And I'm not happy about this at all. Getting a brand new one that has this happen. I don't know if it is by design or not, but I dislike this right off the box. Now, in terms of the battery itself, access to the battery is right in the back. Same thing as this one as well. But the big difference is actually the batteries themselves. So this one comes out pretty easy. This one has this tag right here that you have to push it out. Makes it a little harder for you to get this battery right out of here. Do you really need to get it out? Not really, unless you have an external charger, or of course something goes wrong with the battery. The battery themselves are almost identical in size as well. But most of the time you'll be charging it inside of its housing, so it makes really no difference whatsoever about the battery. It is a little bit cumbersome on this side here, and let's put this back in. Let's turn them on and check them out. So the 7 on the side, press on it, and we're waiting. Here we go, it's on. That's the sound it makes, tuk tuk tuk. This one right here, oops, you have to turn it on, press on it, and it turns on. The sound is more annoying. Now they're both on. And the screens, you can actually see them side to side. Now this one uses more of the real estate space over here than this specific one. It is much smaller screen, really big difference between them. Now if you want to put an object right there, you can see them in both. You can see that this one is much more wide angle than this specific one. So that's actually very interesting. Let me get this out of here, show you the big difference between them. So here it is. You can actually see the difference in the resolution. And this one I put the different kind of things for the screen, and you can see the split between them. This one doesn't have it. So as you move it down, we have the preferences here. You move this down, it has its own preferences here as well. Unfortunately, I actually like the GoPro. I think it has more of better control to them. This one is a little bit lagging in terms of performance right here. On the side, you get a different menu here as well, and you can press on the camera, and as you press on the camera itself, you can actually have different choices, such as devolve, which actually makes it, the big difference devolve or not is the actual resolution of this, which actually means that not really resolution, but more of the way it looks when you're looking at images and the curvature of everything. So if you want a fisheye look, you turn this off. If you want just a normal look for it, you turn it on. And this is something that GoPro doesn't actually have, and you have to use software in order for you to do the same exact thing here. It also has two different modes here, movie and MP3, which is MP4 actually. I like the movie mode better. And after you get all this done, unfortunately, what you have to do next is to save it. And it doesn't save it for itself. You have to go in here, press on over here, and press on save. And then press on OK. So pretty much if you want to make sure it's all saved, you gotta go and do that. You can create different user interfaces too if you have it for different kind of jobs. Now it does have two different screens here, right here, and it doesn't really do much. I haven't seen it. So I finally got it, the Osmo Action. Couldn't resist and I bought it. Unfortunately, I decided to open it but the wrong possible way, and of course I damaged a little bit of the box. But this was an interesting purchase, to say the least. It comes with a few accessories over here, and you can see right now it is very similar to the same exact one by GoPro, almost identical to it, and it had a few things attached to here, and one of which was a protective screen for this and that, and this part, which was all unusable at all. Very unfortunate, because this could have been doubled as a protective screen, but it didn't, because it had to have some instructions right on this. So that is actually been a little bit of a bummer, disappointed as I got this right off the box. With the unboxing itself, there is not much you actually are getting here. And as you're getting here, it is not the most user-friendly boxes that I've seen, and they're not easy to open. So over here you're getting another interesting thing here. You're getting another thing that you can actually post somewhere, DJI version, and you're getting this. One thing you're not, and I'm not going to be seeing here, is the actually charging cable, because it's not here. Not because it doesn't exist, but because I took it out before I filmed this video. That's all the reason for it. Very nice box for the actual battery. This is where the battery is actually stored at. I do like this idea. It's pretty smart of them to create a box for the battery. And here is an interesting here. It is the Osmo Action, and all it is, in many different languages, disclaimer and safety guidelines. There is no user manual here, so that's just junk, primarily speaking. There's nothing really useful in here either. So that's what you're getting here, and it fits right back in the box in case you want to put it in here. Right where it belongs, and you can just close it up. And like I said, this thing is not the most user-friendly boxes that I've seen before. So that being said, and putting this apart, you can see right in the back a few other interesting things here. You can get the special app, and you need an app to activate this. This is one of the biggest things that they have a pet sleeve with this. I don't know why you need an app to activate this camera, but it has been overall a pain. You have to download it on your smartphone, you have to activate it in order to activate the actual camera, so that might put off some people. And then you have to enter your information, including your email as well, and create an account too. And then you activate this thing. Very similar, almost the same identical interface as the GoPro, almost identical in that terms. It opens up, it looks almost like a GoPro, it feels like a GoPro, and it's not a GoPro. And here it is, and you can see it in all its glory. It actually feels and looks a little bit better than the GoPro itself, but I don't think it is as shockproof, and of course not as unbreakable as the GoPro itself is, because that's actually the number one about. A few things I wish this thing actually had and it doesn't have is this. I wish would be able to move, and you could do cool things with it. Unfortunately, it doesn't have this feature. It doesn't move at all. It is just for show. The camera itself, and this is why I actually got this, there is the back facing camera and the front one. This is something that GoPro should actually have, and it doesn't. So that is one thing that I really like about this. You press on this and you turn it on. It has one of the most annoying beeps I ever heard of, and it's pretty loud. This is something I wish you could just turn off. Now, in this mode, it says Osmo Action. If you want to switch, you're going to be getting this camera first. What you have to actually do is to press right here, not right there, press right here and cycle through it, like this. And it's supposed to turn it right down. There we go, it's switched. Nope. And it's a little bit confusing. There we go. I think it did it. So that's one thing about this. I don't like the way this works. It's a little bit confusing. Okay, so here it is. How to do it? Press and hold, and it switches between them. Press and hold. There we go, it jumps. So that's how you actually jump it from here to back. This place right here, it's pretty bright on this side, but the bummer is this side itself. not as bright. And if you've seen a GoPro, the resolution and everything in here is not as good as the GoPro itself. This is okay, but GoPro is so much better. Better resolution, it looks so much better over here. And when you're looking at something through this, you can see all the details in a GoPro much more than you can ever see with this one. And it doesn't have touchscreen focus. No. Major bummer as well. Also, another thing that this thing is actually missing in, and this is actually probably a deal breaker for some people, is the different resolutions mode. In GoPro you have 3 different wide angle ways for you to see, wide angle lenses options, and this one only has one of them, the one that's built in, and that's it. So pretty much what you're really getting here is very good underwater camera, a selfie camera, which is a selfie stick, and it actually in some ways, and here's that other annoying sound, it complements a GoPro, but it doesn't replace a GoPro, which is a huge bummer. But it doesn't. You actually need 2 cameras now to do the same exact thing. In fact, if you really need an underwater camera and don't care about seeing yourself, this is actually the only thing that this actually has going for it, is the selfie screen. Everything else about this camera is just the same thing as a GoPro, except it doesn't beat it in anything except one thing right here. So this has been a little bit of a major disappointment for me as a purchase, and I wish it could do much more than it actually does. So thank you so much for watching, and now we are getting to the end of this video. And which one do I recommend for you to actually get? Between those two, it is actually a very hard decision to figure out which is the best camera. They're so similar, they look almost the same, but there is a few differences that I do actually notice right off the bat, and of course you're going to be noticing as well. So this one has more of the selfie mode over here, and you can see yourself when you're recording. This is a big plus, a big deal breaker for a lot of people. I like this specific feature a lot, and I think this is something that the GoPro should do it as well. Unfortunately with the GoPro, you don't have this. You have this screen, but it just shows a few pieces of important information, but it doesn't show the most important part, which is to see yourself in this camera. Therefore, I don't find myself using it as much. There is a few other things about this camera that I dislike. The menu is a little bit hard to navigate, but talking about hard to navigate menu, this one is almost the same exact thing. This one is actually touchscreen on the back here a little bit. Now on the other hand, this one is not touchscreen at all. In fact, this feels like a primitive version of the same exact camera. The only positive that we are getting here is this screen right here. So overall, I think this one might be actually a better camera in the future if they go ahead and copy almost all the features from this one, including the 3 different widescreen modes that this one actually has, and if this one is going to become as indestructible as the GoPro itself. Now on the other hand, the GoPro, all they have to do is to put right there your own selfie mode, and if they do this, this will be clearly the winner between those two. So this one is new to the market. It's not priced too high, only $350, but on the other hand, this one does everything so much better and faster. So if you have this one and you are considering to get this one, I would wait. This version is not yet as good as this specific version. This is the best, and unless you need the actually selfie mode in here, I actually still recommend the GoPro 7. It is better, and I use it myself. Now on the other hand, what am I going to do with this? That's a good question. I won't tell you, but you can figure this out by yourself. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully you did enjoy another episode of the Geek Tech Show, and if you did, smash the plus sign right there and subscribe to this channel. And don't miss another single episode of the Geek Tech Show, because you just never know what is the next video review that I'm going to be doing next on this channel.